Hi, good evening. I'm Fami Berry. Welcome to another conversation with me. Today, we're talking about leprosy. A brief introduction. Leprosy is a chronic infectious disease caused by bacteria. It mainly affects the skin, the nerves, the eyes, the nasal lining. It's mainly spread via prolonged close contact. So it's not something you just contact immediately. You have to be continuously exposed to that particular person. If left untreated, it causes some deformities and disability. A brief history. It goes back to 600 BC. The causative bacterium is Mycobacterium leprae. It was discovered by G.H. Hansen in 1873. Therefore, this made it to be the very first bacterium. So leprosy is the first bacterium that was known to cause disease to man. Historically, stigmatizations happen due to the visible deformities in leprosy and then the misconception about how it is being contracted. Signs and symptoms. We talk about skin patches or lesions. We talk about muscle weakness, nerve involvement, eye involvement, that even gets to the extreme, which is blindness. Under diagnosis, we talk about skin smear or biopsy. We also talk about lepromine test. We also talk about conduction test and PCR. Clinical presentation. Under clinical presentation, we talk about hypopigmented skin lesions. We also talk about the loss of sensation. Sensory nerves is being affected in these situations. The feel of light touch and even temperature. We also have muscle deformity. Under differential diagnosis, we talk about vitiligo. Remember, when we talk about differential diagnosis, we're talking about ailments that mimic the infection. In this case, we're talking about leprosy. So an ailment that mimics it is vitiligo. Vitiligo is known to have similar skin patches like leprosy, but it does not have any sensory loss attached to it. For etiology, we already know, and it has been established, leprosy is caused by the bacterium Mycobacterium leprae, transmitted by respiratory droplets during prolonged period, and it affects mainly those with weak immunity and genetic susceptibility. For leprosy, there is long incubation period. We're talking 2 to 10 years as the incubation period. Under treatment and management, WHO has proposed a multi-drug therapy. Under the multi-drug therapy, it's spaced into two, which is the paucibacillary and multibiliary. For the paucibacillary, we're talking about less than or equals to 5 lesions. And then for multibacillary, we're talking about greater than 5 lesions. For the paucibacillary, we're talking of a combination of rifampicin and dapsone. While for the multibacillary, we're talking, which is greater than 5 lesions, we're talking about rifampicin, dapsone, and clofazimine. This multi-drug therapy is known to, for the paucibacillary, is known to run for 6 months, while for the multibacillary, which is greater than 5 lesions, is known to run for 12 months. Under treatment of reactional states, we're talking type 1, type 2 leprosy. We're talking about the treatment of via the use of steroids or also the use of thalidomide. We also explore cases like wound care when the skin lesions has progressed, physical therapy, recovery surgery, contact tracing, prophylaxis. For prognosis, it's very excellent if diagnosed early and treatment is started and done early. Most patients become non-infectious within the first few days of starting your multi-drug therapy. Late diagnosis can lead to permanent deformities, permanent nerve issues, and even social stigmatization, because it will lead to deformities that are permanent and would not be able to be reversed. So it's very ideal and advisable that once leprosy has been diagnosed, it should be treated as fast as it can. WHO aims at zero leprosy transmission in future campaigns. So the World Health Organization is appealing to people to make sure that once it has been diagnosed, treatment is started and multi-drug therapy followed strictly to ensure that leprosy is not transmitted around the society. Thank you so much for listening. I remain Fami Berry and see you in the next video.